What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comically Boston. Today's episode 153. It is May 20th, 2024. And this morning, Deadpool and Wolverine tickets are on sale. I already got myself 2 tickets for the Thursday opening night show for me and my buddy Langone. We're really excited. They also released a little teaser. Not too much new trailer info there. Just, I think, a little shot about they're like laying on top of each other, and Deadpool's like, hey, what are you thinking about right now? And he's like, you know, it's kind of like a joke, but it's actually, he's got a knife in him, and he's like, oh, get your head out of your gutter. I'm just getting my knife out of you. Get your head out of my pants, you know? So that's all the new Deadpool stuff, and I think there's a couple new interviews. They're starting like press super early. This movie's for Marvel is going to be ginormous. If they're starting literally a month in advance for press, they're going to be on a just world tour for press for Deadpool and Wolverine. And it's just going to be Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds just being charming as fuck, running around, and also Sean Levy, the director, and just seeing the three of them is going to be hilarious. But last week was a big week for news, so I figured I'd start off with today's news and then go over everything that happened over the last week, catch everybody up on what happened. Just a little personal news. The other day I went to a meet and greet in Boston at Lamborghini Boston to meet 2 other YouTubers that run the channel Daily Driven Exotics. This is a picture of me, Damon, and Dave from DDE, and that was just really cool to see them and take a picture with them and see how they were interacting with everybody, get to see their cars in person. It's just cool because they're like California guys, and they like do mostly all their stuff on the West Coast, but they're also Canadian, so they're like from Canada, and they spend most of their time on the West Coast out in California. So to see them on the East Coast here in Boston was just really cool, and I felt like it wasn't going to happen for a long time. So I was like, all right, let me go by and see if I can't, you know, slide and get me a picture. And I did, so that was kind of cool. So shout out to those guys for taking pictures with everybody and just being super cool individuals. But let's get into some of the news that happened from the last week. This picture released from The Boys. This is going to be from the upcoming Season 4 Boys. And this is just a behind-the-scenes look of Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Carl Urban flipping off the camera, which is just cool. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's a beast. I just saw The Watchmen last night with Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays the comedian. Very, very good movie. Also, we got our first look from The Last of Us Season 2. That's going to be planning to be coming out in the first half of 2025, so that's exciting. They're still shooting right now, I believe, up in Canada somewhere, maybe Vancouver or something like that. But we got our first look at Pedro Pascal as Joel in the Season 2. And if you guys know from the video game, this is a very important scene where him and Ellie are talking, and Ellie was dancing, and yeah, this is a very important scene. But Joel in the second game has longer hair, and he's suave, and you can see why Pedro had that long ass hair going on at the award ceremonies. So it's looking good over there. I can't wait to see Season 2, even though if you guys know, you know it's going to be tough to see my boy Pedro like that. But my girl Ellie here, she doesn't look all too much different. She's still very young, Bella Ramsey, but Ellie is a badass character. She's got a shotgun or a rifle right now, and she's hunting something, but she looks like she's inside somewhere, so who knows what she's hunting. But then this final image from The Last of Us, we get to see Isabella Merced's DINA on horseback with Shimmer, right? And if you guys know the video game from the second game, most of the game is this horse and Ellie and DINA riding around, and you guys are exploring. So that's pretty freaking cool to see them, you know, being so close to the games, right? Like, because obviously it's a TV show, it's going to be a whole nother platform, it has to be different. But just to see these guys and see the horse, and it really looks like Shimmer, and to see Bella Ramsey up there as Ellie holding that gun, she really does remind me so much of Ellie from that game. And I think Isabella Merced's going to do a very nice job being DINA, so that should be a very interesting hot little couple right there, you know, if you know what I'm saying. But in other news, John Wick, from our boy Keanu Reeves, is going to be getting another spin-off. Not Ballerino, the one with Ana de Armas. That apparently is still going to be coming out, and that too is set before John Wick 4. And from John Wick 4, Donnie Yen's character Caine here, to the left of Keanu Reeves, he is a badass character. Donnie Yen's phenomenal, and he plays yet another blind action fighting hero, and he does a phenomenal job. So apparently they're coming out with a Caine prequel story that will lead up to the events and see what happened with his character and lead up to the events of this movie. And I don't know if that's going to be a TV show or a movie, but I know I'll be watching it. You know, I need more from the John Wick universe. I know a lot of people didn't love Continental that came out on Peacock, that 3-episode little show there, but I liked it. I thought it was good. I wish it connected a little bit more to John Wick and Keanu, so we like knew how that story was going. But, you know, it tells us the story of Ian McShane's character a little bit more and how he became the owner of the Continental, and that's cool. But then we got a bunch of news from a Disney Upfront panel, I believe last week, middle of last week. I think it was called Disney Upfront. Very, like, exclusive event, but there was a bunch of images coming out from this and news, and Disney was talking about future projects, but then there was also updates on like DC stuff and some other things. So real quick, DC stuff, Supergirl gets a date, right? Supergirl got confirmed that Millie Alcock was going to be playing Supergirl, and that's now going to be coming September 26th of 2026. So that should be interesting to see her filming over the next probably year or two for that. And DC's finally getting some gears working and some things turning, and you know, I can't wait to see James Gunn's Superman next year as well, but we'll talk about next year. Barbarella. I have never seen Barbarella the original, but this was blowing up over the internet last week. Barbarella remake happening with Edgar Wright to direct and Sydney Sweeney to star, obviously as Barbarella. And the original Barbarella was Jane Fonda, and young Jane Fonda. And I went back and saw like just some clips of it. And obviously I never watched the original movie, but Jane Fonda, Barbarella. Jane Fonda looked unbelievable, like so gorgeous, and it's weird to see her like that because I know older Jane Fonda, right? Like I know her, you know, 80 for Brady Jane Fonda, you know what I mean? Like she's got to be what, 80, you know, like, so she's got to be at least 60, 70 years old, and she's definitely getting up there in age, and she still looks great, you know. So I'll give her credit, you know. Most of the time it's black don't crack, but Jane Fonda don't crack, I'll tell you what, because that bitch stayed gorgeous. And she's kind of like, I like her, she's like a hot ticket. She like gets arrested every now and again for like, you know, rallies or like rights movements, you know, like she's a big person like that. She's not afraid to, you know, put herself out there. But, you know, I think it's really cool that they're going to be remaking a movie like that was clearly iconic way back in the 50s or 60s or 70s whenever it came out. I'm not sure, I wasn't alive, I'm only 25, don't sue me. But Sydney Sweeney being Jane Fonda's character is going to be, you know, it's going to be a bombshell. So I'll watch it. I'm going to see it when it comes out. Edgar Wright's also a very good director, so can't wait for that. Speaking of some ladies and doing some badass things, there was a trailer for Dune Prophecy that came out the other day, and that's going to be a prequel that happens 10,000 years before Dune, setting up how and when and where and who made the prophecy of the Lisan al-Galib and the Kizak Kadarak, you know what I mean? Like the whole story that leads Paul Atreides to be who Paul Atreides is. But this is way, way, way before, and this is going to be a TV show done on HBO Max, but an HBO original. And, you know, just from the shots that we get and the little trailer that we got, comment below if you want me to do a full trailer reaction to the Dune Prophecy here. But it was a good trailer, and then it's like kind of setting up that there's like a Harkonnen mother, like Bene Gesserit, that's trying to get on the throne, but 10,000 years ago, and that's maybe how this all started and how, you know, it gets to the point where it's at 10,000 years later. Just very interesting to see, you know. And that show, I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I'm certainly going to be watching. And now, some of my favorite news that came out over the last week. Nicolas Cage has officially said that he will be in the live-action Spider-Man noir, right? So that it was, I believe, in the works with Amazon, and I believe also a Silk Spider-Man was going to be in the works, and now Silk isn't in the works, but now Nicolas Cage has signed on to do Spider-Man noir, so maybe that's what they're focusing on with this Spider-Man stuff. But the black and white version of him from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was so funny, and just to see Nicolas Cage do that in live action and be that version of the character, and see him in a live stakes, like black and white noir vibes, I think I'm really going to enjoy that show, regardless if it's funny or not. But like, come on, it's going to be funny. And Nicolas Cage, like, it's got to be really good. So I'm excited to see that. Some crazy casting news from the Fantastic Four. Natasha Lyonne has now been cast in the Fantastic Four, and immediate thoughts from most of the fans is that her voice is going to be Herbie the Robot, which I wouldn't be mad at, but I would also then be like, okay, so we just got Natasha Lyonne to do a voicing role. I think I would rather Malkovich be the robot at that point. But I think, you know, a lot of people said that it was going to be the robot. I think Natasha Lyonne is going to be playing Ben Grimm's wife. You know, I don't know if it's Susie. I don't quite remember. But the wife's, you know, whoever his love interest is, I think it will be Ebon Moss-Bachrach and Natasha Lyonne are going to be the love interest back and forth. And it will be easier for Natasha Lyonne because he's going to be in CGI pajamas, so that might be a little strange, but he's not going to be in a full rock suit. So she doesn't have to be like fake attracted to this rock man. She can at least be like, oh, it's Ebon. I like Ebon. He's great in the bear, you know, like, cousin, I was just stabbed. If you guys haven't seen The Bear, you got to. It's so crazy and insane. But that's exciting Marvel news. You know, just this Fantastic Four cast just keeps getting thicker and thicker. I believe they're going to be starting to film at the end of July. So right around when Deadpool's coming out, that should be exciting stuff. But Deadpool currently is the only Marvel movie coming out this year for Marvel Studios. There's, of course, Madam Web came back out in February. I believe in December we're getting Kraven. That might have even got pushed to next year at this point, but I'm not sure. You know, so we still might have some Sony projects in there, but as far as Marvel Studios, Deadpool Wolverine is the only project we're getting live action, and then we got like Echo for the TV shows, and then we just got X-Men 97, which was phenomenal. As far as the next show, we don't know what the next one will be. I'm assuming it will probably be a What If Season 3, or maybe a Spider-Man freshman year, or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is what the title got changed to, that animated Spider-Man show. Or maybe the Marvel Zombies. We still don't know what happened to those, so that's still interesting, like, just to be like, okay, when and where is that going to be happening? But what we do know is happening in September 18th, there will be a 2-episode premiere for Agatha All Along, with Catherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza's in there, Patti LuPone, right? Like that cast is going to be crazy as well. But I think that one's just going to be so much fun. And they finally came up with just another title, and this will now be what, the 5th title we know. And if there's going to be like 6 episodes, or I think there's 9 or 8 episodes, I don't know. But we do know that the 2-episode premiere will be on the 18th of September of this year, which is awesome. Right before Halloween, so maybe by the time, you know, the weeks roll out, maybe the finale will be around Halloween time. I'm not sure, but we do know the other titles were Agatha House of Harkness, Agatha Coven of Chaos, Agatha Darkhold Diaries, and then one that they just released just before the actual title the other day was Agatha the Lying Witch with Great Wardrobe, right? Which is obviously a Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe spoof. But that's 5 titles, so I'm assuming that we're going to get 5 titles, and then the 6th episode finale will reveal the final title. You know what I mean? And that will be the final one that we see, and then that will take us into whatever's happening next for Agatha. But I'm assuming maybe Elizabeth Olsen is coming back in that series, because, you know, she introduced Agatha, but maybe it won't be connected at all. Maybe that will set up like an Ironheart or something. But in other news from that Disney Upfront panel, we found out a new poster for Daredevil Born Again, and you can see Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox on stage there. But Daredevil now has the New York skyline in the Daredevil font, which is just, you know, kind of interesting font. It looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like blood drips, but it's actually the city skyline. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's not, crazy or anything, but it's perfectly fine. But we found out that originally they had said Daredevil Born Again was going to be an 18-episode, one season. So now it's looking like they split that first season of 18 episodes into 9 and 9, because now we're going to get 9 episodes being the first season in March of 2025 for Marvel Television. If you also see in that logo at the top above Daredevil, it says Marvel Television, not Marvel Spotlight like it did for Echo. So what happened to Marvel Spotlight, we're really not sure. It's not going to be Marvel Animation like X-Men 97 or What If. It's not going to be Marvel Studios like the movies. So now they have a whole nother branch just called Marvel Television that is just going to be focusing on making good television, which is probably for the better, but at least they're figuring it out. But what's going to happen to the Marvel Spotlights? Not sure. Maybe we'll get Marvel Spotlight for Ironheart, but that also says Marvel Television. We got a new logo for Ironheart, and that should also be coming in 2025 next year. And that show has been done for like 3 years. I think like 2022 they showed footage of the show Ironheart, so now it's like 2 years later we still haven't gotten it. So I'm just glad that Ironheart wasn't canceled like a Batgirl or something over at DC, and we're actually going to be getting it and seeing it with our own eyes. And then some just vinyl Marvel news here, that season 2, and I don't know if this is 100% confirmed or maybe just rumored, but it was talked about enough that I want to talk about it. And because I loved the season 1 so much of Hawkeye with Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner, of course, had that terrible accident and almost died, but now has been making his way back. So maybe that has to do with the rumors that his season 2 will focus on Barton's brother, Barney Barton. So we got Clint, but now we're going to see Barney Barton, which from the comics is also an archer as well. So of course it's Hawkeye, so we're just going to have great archers. But Haley Steinfeld was awesome in that first season. I really, really enjoyed her character, and I loved her bouncing off of Jeremy Renner and the two of them together. So, and Jeremy's back acting, right? He had just done Mayor of Kingstown, so it's going to be really cool to see a season 2 of that, and maybe hopefully it's around the Christmas time again like the first show. And I really loved the vibe of having a Marvel Christmas show like that. It was just a lot of fun. But coming up here in June, we have the Acolyte, and from the comic books, there's a character, Vanestra Rowe, that has a whip lightsaber. Kind of like Indiana Jones, but a lightsaber, which sounds corny. I think I'm gonna have to see it in live action, like in full fight, to know if I like it or not. But I don't think they should have released a clip of it before June, right? Like they should have just let us wait and see it for the first time, because now online people are like, oh, I hate it, whatever. And all it was like a 2-second clip, but this little screen grab, clearly it is going to be the whip lightsaber, and it's going to be purple. So, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it just quite yet. I'm going to have to see it in full action to know what it's like, but that's a lot of really exciting stuff happening next year, 2026, some new casting news, some getting you prepared for season 2s of The Last of Us, of Hawkeye, getting you prepared for the Agatha show, Nicolas Cage casting, Natasha Lyonne casting, a Barbarella remake, right? Like just so much going on. Dune Prophecy for all my Dune fans out there. Like that's so cool. Daredevil Born Again finally getting a solidified date, and that when that's coming. That's going to be so cool next March, to break down that show. So now by next March, I got to do 3-season rewatch of Daredevil, the Netflix series, which is going to be awesome. But just to close out the show, I just want to talk about the movies we're going to be getting, superhero movies at least, that we're going to be getting in 2025. And it's just going to be phenomenal all the way through. We're going to get James Gunn's Superman, which is just going to be fucking phenomenal, and that's coming in July. Then we're going to get the Fantastic Four with Pedro Pascal and that ridiculous cast. Then, because it was supposed to come out this year, it got pushed back till next year, Robert Pattinson's The Batman 2, which I'm going to be ecstatic for, especially if it's what I think it's going to be. And then we're going to get possibly a Spider-Man 4 for Tommy Holland. So a lot of big things coming, a lot of huge news and roles and castings and movies and things happening. Go get your Deadpool and Wolverine tickets on sale now, and get you a theater near you, and let me know if you're coming to the theater I'm at. If you see me over there, say what's up, you know, and let's take a picture in our Deadpool shirts and share our fandom. You know what I mean? But that's it for Big Cam today. I will catch up with you guys in the next episode. No after show this week. We're going to be very busy doing after shows in June, so stay tuned for all that. But there is movie reviews coming to the channel this week. There's going to be The Watchmen, Mad Max Fury Road, Furiosa also comes out later this week, and I also got to watch Zendaya's The Challengers over the weekend, so movie reviews coming to the channel tomorrow. Stay tuned for those, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Follow my other links in the description below if you want to see me on my other social medias. If you want to see my movie reviews, my Letterboxd link is down in the description below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, hit that bell if you don't want to miss future videos. My name is Big Cam. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace.